the year that they won that national championship. Over the ball, one of the hottest players on Duke, and his name is Kenny Hott, number 23, scoring goals this year. But well before he was scoring goals, Cedric, to my point in the open, you have always been a strong advocate for the right reasons for Hott.
Kenny Hott's a footballer's footballer. He does all the things behind the scenes that often don't show up in the score sheet, along with Trevor Burns, who's out tonight. He's been really the engine in the midfield. We've seen him step up, especially offensively on the scoreboard, getting a little higher up the pitch from his traditional sixth position. He's been very effective.
Here comes a shot for Hott. Knocked out of there by NC State. So Donovan Phillip starts the game on the bench. And just so we're honest with everybody, we don't know why. We had limited interaction with the top man for NC State before the game, and didn't go into a ton of deal on the lineup, but definitely did not mention the potential of Phillip not starting. So let me say that, but then let me also say I hope the young man's okay, because he is a really special player.
He's a very special player. There's a reason he is currently the #1 ranked player in the country and leads the country in so many offensive statistics. He's an exciting guy, and when you have a match like this, you want the best players on the pitch, so we hope he's okay and he makes it into this game.
You know, we were talking before the game, and a couple years ago, Kevin Keats and NC State made a run to the Final Four with DJ Burns, and I mean, Donovan Phillip just kind of has that effect on this team, if that makes sense.
He does. I mean, he's the guy, and he wears it proudly. He had a fantastic summer with the Flint Bucks up in Michigan, USL 2, and really came in with a head of steam. And he was the National Player of the Year this summer and has not left off. He's the attraction. You know, he's the guy when you hear about this state team, you want to see him and see how he's scoring all these goals.
NC State, of course, in their familiar red, the Duke Blue Devils, and their familiar home Duke Blues.
And Dean, I think one of the more impressive things with Phillip early in the season, the question was when the competition ratchets up and they get in the heart.
This is trouble. Big time save, still loose, as Eric Demora, the redshirt senior out of Clifton, New Jersey, a transfer from Monmouth, who comes in with a .72 goals against average with a quality save. Player down right now for Duke.
Both of these teams can counterattack so quickly, Dean. We see on this one, I mean, we're mid-sentence and goal-scoring opportunity right from the jump. That's Aiden Payne who comes in for Phillip. But finishing that thought, you know, Phillip really embraced the responsibility of being that guy, being that target 9, leading the team. And the early season talk was, can he continue this when the ACC season starts? And he most certainly has.
Donovan Phillip, part of the reason why he was with the Flint City Bucks is he started his career in Oakland, and that program has strong ties to Oakland. Donovan Phillips also made a name with St. Lucia as well. So we'll just have to wait and see if number 7 gets the nod after 21 straight starts. I will tell you that Palmer Alt from Indiana tied him in goals yesterday and overtook him in points. So it'll be a throw in for Duke. Playing up top for Duke, Ofer Bjornsson. For me, one of the toughest losses this year for Duke, and they've had a few, but losing Axel Gudbjornsson, who was starting to not just play center back. There were times, let's take a look at this replay first, though.
We see Vukovic, the big Marshall transfer. I've often said this season he leaves every game tired with a lot of grass stains. If there is physical contact, he will be in the middle of it all night, Dean.
So he played in the national championship game against Vermont last year down the street at WakeMed Soccer Park before joining Duke. Couple NC State players over the ball. Riley Maloney, he can serve it. He's got 6 assists. The freshman from England, played with Derby County over in England, also over the ball. Tyler Caton sent far stick in front. Another big save, Demora. Oh, and a sitter that went missing. Oh no, it was deflected. And it's probably a good thing it was deflected, because that was an absolute sitter after a wonderful save from Demora, who's made a couple already.
Great save from Demora, and you're right, Dean. That was a sitter. It looks like that far right post was wide open, and just not for that deflection. That's just Drew Kerr getting in with a fantastic slide tackle. If not for that tackle, that's pretty much a guaranteed goal.
Great call on Drew Kerr being the player. And Demora pumped up with his senior there, Drew Kerr. Oh, and headed in by NC State. Why not? They were knocking at the door. They've had Demora make 2 quality saves already.
Dean, I believe that was Justin Mclean coming in from the far post. We talked about the fantastic save and how quickly both of these teams could score, and just like that, a beautiful ball off the corner. Justin Mclean comes in unmarked and slots this one far post. That's Mclean getting up over Cabuso, it looks like. It's a fantastic header, put it in the place where no one could save it.
Third goal of the season for Justin Mclean, to go with 3 assists for the transfer from Georgia State out of Atlanta. Last year, 5 goals and 1 assist. And then 23, 4 goals and 5 assists. So he can find the back of the net, and it's NC State 1, Duke 0. This after Eric Demora made 2 pretty good saves that were definitely going in the back of the net. NC State just kept on coming, and the fans from Wolfpack land love it.
Dean, you talk about an emphatic statement to begin this game for NC State. That was a goal. Through and through, he made sure he was up over the ball, put it in the corner, slided away perfectly. A lot of history on the line tonight. This Wolfpack has not beaten the Blue Devils in the regular season since 2009.
Wolfpack averaging over 20 shots per game, and they've already got 4 tonight, including 1 in the back of the net, and forcing Demora to already make 2 saves.
And Dean, both of these teams are very strong and robust defensively, but this has the makings of a shootout. These teams are number 1 and number 2 in the country in corners as well as shots on goal.
Good work on the back line this time by Duke as they try to send it forward. Nobody home there, though. So Demora in the goal for Duke. It's Logan Erb in the goal as John Kerr, arms folded, looking on. Not the start he wanted on senior night.
Well, Dean, for Coach Hubbard and the Pack, this was really a focus this week in training. We saw the result against UNCG, walked away at the point, but had a very dominating stat line in terms of shots, corners, and every offensive statistic. So it was important the execution increased in this match, and they found ways to put goals on. Point of emphasis coming in, and they've already 5 minutes in put one in.
NC State landing right now at number 3. They have been at number 8, number 5, number 2, and finally number 1. And they came out this week, the United Soccer coaches, at number 3. Duke had also been way up there. They dipped just a little bit at number 19. But Duke has a resume and an RPI that will get them back into the NCAA tournament. I feel like I can say that with certainty. Can I?
I would say so, but this ACC is crazy. We were looking at the stat before the game. I believe 8 teams are still in contention to win the league with 2 matches left. That's incredible.
That includes these 2 teams here. They'll need a little help. And offside, Jeremy Gunn's done such an amazing job at Stanford. And with them coming to the ACC, of course, the former coach at Charlotte, the only coach to win back-to-back-to-back national championships. After taking Charlotte to multiple college cups, he heads out to the farm and delivers the goods.
Had the pleasure of working Wake Forest and Stanford a couple of weeks ago, and spent a lot of time before that match with Coach Gunn, and he's He's insightful and has a clear development priority, which is not the standard this day with the transfer portal and how many teams are building, and it's paying off with results.
Well, you nailed it. He is all about development. Look at NC State just flying right now. This Duke pitch is perfect. NC State looking for a 2-0 lead. Good little run and a nice decision to take the shot right there for NC State. The shot coming from Taig Healy.
Dude, this game has just opened up completely. Both teams will have to work on settling down the middle of the park. So this isn't a counterattack game all evening. But this State team came in ready to play tonight.
Taig Healy along with Isaac Heffis, two players that played for Coach Hubbard at New Hampshire and came to Raleigh to join the Wolfpack.
Healy with a great ACC debut last year, was second team All-ACC in 2024.
I tell you, this crowd, this fill brings you back to the Coach Rennie versus Coach Tarantini kind of aura. I've seen several NC State alumni that are here. There's obviously on senior night, there's some Duke alumni here as well. Saw Dwan Bader down there earlier. When you go back to the Tarantini-Rennie era, those were some special teams.
Some special teams, some very competitive games, and just a local rivalry with national implications every year. Consistently great players, a lot of local players featured in those matchups. To your point, Coach Kerr said coming into this one, they expected it to be the biggest attended game of the season, and also a big on-air audience. A lot of former players who I've heard from several since we've been on air. A lot of eyes watching this match.
Cabuso. Jamie Cabuso, rather, the sophomore from Chestnut Hill, Mass. Pushing forward for Duke is Vukovic. Decent cross coming from Arlotti. Kerr. Kerr wants it back. Kerr, good pass. Bjornsson. I got to tell you, Cedric, on his first turn, he had the space to take a shot. He decided to do one more turn.
He did. It was well defended. Normally, he makes that first decisive move and he blasts it. He had the opportunity there. I think Drew Kerr's hesitation, he has such a beautiful and prominent left foot. The State players condensed a little bit, expecting him to shoot it, and he did lay Bjornsson into a lane there.
Nikola Markovic with a couple words for Bjornsson after denying him. Markovic is from Canada, both his parents Serbian. Center back there with Isaac Heffis for Coach Hubbard and NC State.
And both coaches mentioned the incredible individual matchups that we will see in this match, and that is one of them we'll see prominently displayed.
Not sure about the status of Donovan Phillip. We are fairly certain about the status of Trevor Burns, and you touched on it already. I just think that's a big loss for Duke. It reminds me so much of his dad, Mike Burns, who was on the '92 Olympic team and the '94 World Cup team. They play a similar style, really busy.
Trevor Burns, busy, shifty, he's an honest player. You get his full effort every game, leaves everything on the pitch. Again, like Hot prior to this season, many of his contributions do not show on the score sheet, but everyone who's a footballer and understands the game understands his contribution every match.
Drew Kerr steps in. Vukovic comes forward. I'll give a yellow card here. I'm not going to lie, I'm even a a little bit confused. We may need to take another look at that. That's Calum Tommy, the senior from Cape Town, South Africa, who took down Vukovic.
Well, Vukovic, good job running through this ball. There was some contact there. I don't think it was intentional, but contact nonetheless. Vukovic did a good job absorbing that contact and going down to get the yellow. That's a tough one, Dean.
Yeah, that's not a yellow. I don't think he touched him. Coach Hubbard understandably upset.
Vukovic channeling his best striker impression, going down with suspected contact. Don't usually see that from a center back, but at that point in the field and that touch he'd taken, if he didn't win that ball, could have been a counterattack, so worked out for the Blue Devils.
If you joined us late, you have missed a lot. That includes Donovan Phillip not starting. We're not sure why, but it didn't matter because NC State had literally 4 shots on goal within the first 6 minutes, including a goal in the 6th minute by Justin Mclean, assisted by Riley Maloney. And now the yellow card to Calum Tommy. That kind of sum things up. It's 5 shots already for NC State, 1 for Duke. And they forced Eric Demora to make 2 saves already in this game.
Well, if there's one player on that back line that Coach Hubbard trusts playing with the yellow, would be Calum Tommy. Really highlighted coming into this match how composed he's been, how much he's grown as a player, and just the athletic, physical presence he brings to the wing.
Coach Hubbard for NC State comes in with a record of 252, 58, and 45 overall. Quite a few of those wins with New Hampshire. He's already 26-8 for NC State in just 2 short years, as they beat Charlotte and Georgetown last year in the NCAA tournament to make a fairly deep run.
Very impressive run. Only thing that stopped them was a very impressive Wake Forest team, which made it to the Elite Eight. I mean, really speaking to the depth of the ACC this year. NC State is number 4 in the league and number 3 in the country. I think that's says all we need to hear right there.
That's yeah, you never know what could happen. I mean, last year in the women's Final Four, all 4 teams came from the ACC. If there was ever a year where there is the potential for that, it could be this year. But there's some good teams out there. Maryland beating Indiana 3-2 last night. They're undefeated on the season. They have not lost a game.
A lot of parity in the college game this year. There's probably 15 to 20 teams who could compete for a national title.
The irony is Maryland, when they left the ACC to go to the Big Ten, they had won the doubles in the final 2 years before they left. Bring it back to Logan Erb, the senior transfer from San Diego State.
Dean, this NC State team, they want to play good football. They're not afraid to build it out of the back, as we can see. Same back line has started every match this season. So a ton of chemistry and leadership back there. They will put the game down, try to play proper football and break lines and find opportunity and advance up the pitch. They want to play in a small space and condense this pitch as much as possible.
There's Tommy, one of those outside backs that you were just talking about. As they'll bring it back, Markovic and Heffes, the 2 center backs. Heffes wearing 18. That was Markovic a moment ago. They're wearing 6. This is Isaac Heffes, one of the 2 players starting from New Hampshire, where Coach Hubbard came to Raleigh from. This is Healy, the little man, one of the smallest out there. He has got a great engine. He can fly.
Oh, he can buzz around. A lot of dynamic players in this NC State midfield.
NC State down near the corner flag. That's great defense from Duke to get out of there. Taken right back, though, by the Wolfpack.
And we see this is a trait of this NC State team. They want to really press and find isolation and win the ball in the wings. And through that repress, create offensive opportunities. And they want to keep the Blue Devils pent in and basically keep this game in their offensive half as long as possible.
NC State 10, 1-3 overall. Their only loss was against Virginia, 1-0. We've got a whistle here. And now a little push as well, hot in the middle of it.
The temperature of this game is starting to heat up. Coach Hubbard described this game as a potential bloodbath, which sounded a bit dramatic, but it's playing out on the pitch. So we see Drew Kurt drawing the foul off of Caleb Tommy, who just picked up the yellow a few minutes ago. See a lot of emotion here. Kenny Hott, the enforcer, comes in. He's had his teammates back all season. Pretty aggressive on that takeaway right there. Ultimately, I think both will amount to a little about nothing, and this game will stay under control.
Stephen Foster is the referee who, this is one of those games where he's aware before they even roll out there that he's got to be on his A game, because there's no love lost between these two teams.
No love lost at all. Well, and the implications. I mean, both of these teams, again, are still in contention to win the ACC, NCAA tournament, national rankings, everything's on the line.
Hot with a one bouncer to Logan Erb, a senior from Houston who played at San Diego State. Back in the old school years, San Diego State is where Marcelo Balboa and Eric Winalda played for a couple years. Those are some old school names right there.
Those are some very prominent names. Duke's gonna have to be more effective executing and getting deeper with possession in their offensive third against a keeper like who's having the year like Erb. Those shots from distance really not going to amount to much this evening.
That was Aiden Payne who got the start instead of Donovan Phillip. Tommy. For those of you at home, if you can imagine, there is quite a bit of prep work that is put in by our incredible crew to get ready for this game. And we knew we weren't certain about the lineup, but we had a pretty good idea. And lo and behold, we saw the name 15, Aiden Payne, and we're like, okay, well, wait, who's he coming in for? And it's none other than Phillip.
Looking at a little bit of a carryover from that foul we just saw. Drew Kerr walks by. Looks like a few choice words of Caleb Tommy. And a clear trip right in front of the Duke bench. Probably not the smartest play with a yellow card. The result of this call could have dramatic implications on the rest of this match, Dean.
You know what's interesting is he also had what was closer to a yellow card in the second tackle against Kerr earlier. That looked more like a yellow card than the first one. Vukovic did well to sell that first one.
100%.
So they decided to wave it off.
And probably not unrelated, Dean, to your point. I think there's an awareness of a difference between a soft yellow and a definitive yellow, and would hate to see any player have to leave the match for those transgressions, if you will. But Caleb Tommy is going to have to be careful here on out. He's got two questionable instances, and that was a clear trip on the sideline. He's fortunate.
Was Arlote, number 7, who won it earlier. Now he's on it again. Arlote, really good footwork. Bjornsson with Arlote, tight quarters. Jurgensen, Bo Jurgensen, who has proven to be such a valuable player because he can play all over the field.
Bull is an extremely versatile player. We've seen him at forward, we've seen him at center back, we've seen him in various midfield, interior midfield positions.
Sent all the way back, Heffes to Logan Erb.
We've seen more intentionality with slowing down this build in the last few goal kicks, Dean. NC State wants to draw this Duke team out, create more space, and pick them apart.
Kept alive by the Duke Blue Devils. They play it long. Good hustle by Vukovic. Vukovic is pushed down.
Dean, we're 20 minutes in, and I believe Vukovic has already touched the ground at least 4 times.
You mentioned the grass stains that are always on his jersey. Vukovic, decent long ball, trying to find Bjornsson at the top of the 18. Arlote, good high press. NC State, Healy drops it off.
NC State has done a great job identifying second ball opportunities through represses in the midfield, and we've seen each of them nearly lead to a counter.
I wanted to go back to what I was talking about earlier. The loss of Axel Gudbjornsson, to me, was devastating. He was really coming into form. He was playing center back and getting chances to come in and play up top. Healy wins it back for NC State. He'll drop it over to Tommy. Tommy with that yellow card. Oh, what a move from Tommy on Kerr, but then hits the beautiful video board here at Koskinen Stadium.
You see Caleb Tommy with a little foot loose impersonation over there, tripping up Drew Kerr, gets it over to his left, gets a decent shot off, but not on target. These outside wingbacks have gotten quite involved offensively this year. Caleb Tommy has 4 assists. You mentioned Riley Maloney earlier, the freshman, who's exactly what Coach Hubbard expected him to be. He's got 1 goal and 6 assists from his outside back position.
Here's Logan Erb, who comes in with an amazing .23 goals against average. This team has given up just 3 goals on the season. Let me just say that one more time. NC State has given up just 3 goals on the season, as he is 10-1-3 all by himself, Logan Erb. I did go back and watch a little bit of the Carolina-NC State game. First of all, there was over 5,000 people at the game, and it was one of the more entertaining 0-0 games you're ever going to see.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best games in the ACC this season. Back and forth, a lot of action, great defensive play from both teams. Now, one thing we've seen from Erb early, and Coach Hubbard spoke about this, is the development of his foot skills, essentially building out of the back. He's become much more confident. We can see the team's confidence in him. Often they've gone back to him. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go back now again. But they reset with him, and it comes back through the spine. But very confident. Here we go, back to him. Very confident, drawing them out, with Erb being the main distributor.
Seeing a little bit of Rakaj, the freshman out of Norway, with 3 goals and 1 assist to add some pressure on that front line attack for Duke. But NC State continues to, either on the carpet or through the air, find seams. Good defense again by Vukovic. Vukovic just built like a brick house. And he'll go down on contact. He'll come back to Duke.
Vukovic never shied away from any impending contact.
6 shots for NC State, 3 of them on frame, 1 in the back of the net. 2 shots for Duke, 1 shot on goal. 1-0 NC State, the number 3 team in the country here in Durham.
Well, and they've been successful really with switching the point of attack and quick pivots. Really starting with that low block in the midfield, winning second balls and winning it back, and then quickly either getting expansive or finding a through ball and breaking a line, as you said. But this is probably the most disjointed in a press situation I've seen these Blue Devils in several weeks.
NC State taking their time as under 20 minutes remaining here in the first half. They've got a 1-0 lead over Duke on senior night.
Well, Dean, no lead is safe in Koskinen, as we've come to know. Duke 11-0-4 in the last 15 home matches. Specifically have been lethal offensively in the second half. A lot more to go in this one.
Duke opened the season with a win over Brian Quinn in San Diego, who is another team that still is in the top 25 of the United Soccer Coaches. That was 2-1. Then they beat San Diego 1-0. Went on the road and got 3 ties at Furman, at Georgetown, at Cal. They got back to Koskinen, where Cedric Burke just said the team is amazing. And in 5 games, they outscored the opposition 25-0. Is that good?
Not bad.
2-0 over Syracuse, 8-0 over Philip Jow and Howard. I love Philip, by the way. Louisville, they beat them 1-0. Averett, one of those games where Coach Hubbard kind of threw a little shade on, 10-0, and then they beat Pitt 4-0.
Everyone likes to throw a little shade on that annual Averett game. But there is no doubt it does healthily pad the offensive stats a little bit.
However, the last 3 games, though, has been a little bit of struggle bus scoring for Duke. We'll have more on that in just a moment from our great crew.
And Dean, just really uncharacteristic of who this Duke team has been from an identity perspective. The last 2 years, they have been top 5 in nearly every offensive statistic. So 3 scoreless matches. There's definitely a focus on breaking out of that this evening.
Arlotti knows he can't complain there. He had no idea where the ball is as he led with his body.
And a lot of this, NC State led with a very physical presence in this match, and Blue Devils are matching it right now. But yeah, no play on the ball there.
So Cedric, I don't mind them matching the physicality, but it still has to be smart. I mean, Duke is one of the top academic programs in the country. They do everything smart, right? That was not a smart foul.
No, it wasn't, especially at this position on the field. We've already seen what State can do in a set-piece opportunity.
Looped in, definitely not a shot. Ooh, Aceto, that's a foul.
That's another not a smart foul. Positionally on the field, that's not a bad place for NC State to commit a foul, but that's a clear push in the back. Those will add up. That's Markovic, center back coming through. Center back on center back. Getting Cam Aceto in the back there.
Markovic, who will come forward. He's got 2 goals and assists. Meanwhile, Riley Maloney, the left back, with 1 goal and 6 assists. Caleb Tommy on the other side with 4 assists. So you can tell that this NC State team will run their wide backs forward, and that'll help create goals. And the man who has scored a ton of them, Donovan Phillip, has yet to be seen. And again, we're not certain why.
Well, Dean, the best teams in our game, specifically at the college levels these days, really employ a positionless style. And so to see these defensive players get that involved offensively, there's a reason this team has been so successful this year.
So He's got his penny on. He went through the full warm-up.
Well, to your point, Dean, if he were a decoy, perhaps you would expect him to have his warm-ups on by now. We're nearly to halftime, but he's still over there with his boots on, looking like he's ready to play.
I mean, they do play a lot of games. We have seen some of the top teams in the country that have decent depth with load management, but let's be clear, this is a shock that he's not out there. This one sent back in, kept alive, and barely missing right there for NC State is Riley Maloney, who's got a lot of points with 1 goal and 6 assists. Good look there at Eric Demora, the goalkeeper for Duke.
We can see why Maloney's been so successful. When the ball switches sides, he does a great job of cutting off the pitch and coming more central. Wide open shot there, didn't miss by much.
Corner for NC State will be taken by number 3, Riley Maloney.
And see the frustration there. Maloney knows he can put that one away. That's a big moment.
NC State's been pretty good about drawing corners. 8.1 is second in the country, let alone the ACC. A great crowd here at Koskinen Stadium, making some noise here on this corner kick for NC State. Demora, who is way over on the far stick at the moment. Sent it near stick, little pushing and shoving. That always seems to go back to the Duke goalkeeper and the Duke defense.
And the two center backs, it's the opposite center back pairing now, Vukovic. But he's in there with Markovic, and they're definitely holding each other after that last goal. After that last goal in the corner, definitely more of an emphasis from this Duke team of keeping their marks. A lot of communication with the refs right now. This is going to be a physical matchup.
With the 2 number 6s, Markovic for NC State, Vukovic for Duke. They look like street fighters, don't they?
They do. I think they could both hold their own, Dean.
I do too. Healy with a good drop over to Lovelace. Taken away by Arlotti.
Dean, you want this game to finish with 22 players on the field and to keep it within reason, but some of this physicality and this passion is what you want to see in a local rivalry. How much this means to these players.
So Caden Tolentino, who's one of the captains, will come into the game, and Carlos Santamaria, who's in his 6th year, spent some time with Mercer out of Dallas, has also come into the game, as you see Tolentino. But we still do not see Donovan Phillip.
And Tolentino, one of several local players who feature prominently on this NC State team. Coach Hubbard did mention it's definitely a focus of being more active in local recruitment and development, and it's important to feature those guys to show that opportunity exists. But a lot of those guys have stepped up and played big roles culturally for this team this season.
Justin Mclean in minute number 6 with a goal. This after Eric Demora was dealing with some point-blank shots, making some big-time saves. But it's NC State 1, Duke 0. 8 shots now for the Wolfpack, 2 for Duke. After outscoring those 5 games in Syracuse, Howard, Louisville, Avery, and Pitt 25-0, they tied a very good Elon team 1-1, also here at Koskinen, as it's picked up by Demora. And then they forgot how to score, as they didn't score at Boston College, a 0-0 tie. They got beat 3-0 against Clemson, and then Queens, who had beaten Clemson early in the season at Clemson, came here, and that was also 0-0.
And Queens is a good team. You know, they traditionally play several ACC teams and had some outstanding results this season, but not the results you expect, especially at Koskinen. See Jamie Cabuso, he's brought some athleticism to the wing that was missing earlier in the season. Was out with a hamstring injury for the first month or so. Allows this Duke team to, one, get more expansive, but pushes Drew Kerr up on the left side, turns it into more of a true three-back.
So goal kick coming for Logan Erb. It's interesting, you mentioned that tie against Elon. NC State actually lost to Elon in the exhibition season. I don't put a lot of stock in that, but Elon's pretty good too.
Oh, Elon's a very good team. It was Jameer Flowers, one of my former players, who scored that goal to tie the Blue Devils here.
Max Simpson, who has started quite a few games, also will come in. Cito. One back by NC State. Oh, what a ball. Angled in. Closing down is Vukovic with a little shove inside the box. And now Vukovic will dribble out of it.
Vukovic, good job keeping that shoulder to shoulder and limiting his arm extension. All eyes were on him on that play. If he doesn't get shoulder to shoulder, that is a PK in waiting potentially.
I need to be fair to Alexander Vukovic. I have seen him make a few silly fouls in the few games that I've been able to do. I think he's been really outstanding here tonight, though, for Duke, Cedric.
He has. I mean, he's an old school throwback center back. You know, this baller man, you're not getting by him. He can come up and he can help build in possession, but he's going to compete. I think he's been very good, has really accepted his matchups tonight.
Tommy does have that questionable yellow card and had a couple that looked like yellow cards in tussles with Drew Kerr that were both waved off. He's a little bit lucky that he's in the game. He's unfortunate that he got the first yellow.
Dan and I maintain if that first yellow had not been of the softer variety, it may have been a different story on that second play with Drew Kerr on the sideline.
I think you're 100% right, as you usually are. Got a player down, and let's see if there's going to be a card coming out. There is, as it's going to come to Thomas Lamai, wearing number 5. So Lamai, the 5th-year transfer from St. John's. So stepped on his,
stepped on his boot. Similar play, ball bouncing around in the air, and that's just coming in, stepping on his
both
foot. Yeah, that's a clear yellow foul right there. Clear yellow card, rather.
Coach Hubbard, I'm not sure if he realizes it, but Lamai hit both feet there. Jurgensen, not just one. That's hard to do.
Actually, in slow motion, that play looked much more vicious than it did real time.
And because of that, they're going to take a look at it. This will be interesting, and you just nailed it. Real time, it just kind of looked like a foul and probably warranted a yellow, but I don't know if I've seen too many times where you get both boots in one play.
Dean, cleats up, studs up, into the leg, clear foul, both legs. I mean, that's a dangerous play.
So they'll still say a yellow, which Coach Hubbard still talking about. There's one boot.
I think had that play started from further distance with more aggression, we may be talking about a red card. I think he was close enough to the ball, just slow getting to it.
So both teams going to their bench. NC State has brought on 3 players. So is Duke. D'Ambrosio, Ortega, and Simpson are out there for Duke. Boy, at the moment, Duke is really having trouble like stringing passes from midfield to even get into the offensive third. Like they'll win it here, but NC State has been quick to win it back. Good job stepping in by Duke to win it back, as that was Jose Ortega, the senior from Bethesda, Maryland. The kind of player that he can sometimes go games with just limited minutes, but then in a big game when John Kerr and Michael Brady kind of need a big performance, they're not afraid to go to Ortega.
Not at all. Can play many positions. He's played in the back as a center back, as an outside back. He's played as an outside wing. He's played in the middle at times. He's versatile. He's experienced, which you need in these matchups. But no, they're not afraid to call on him for a big moment. He's scored some big goals already this year.
Wait, Cedric, I still haven't got a comment from you on Axel Goodbjornsson, because he was coming into form and they were putting him up at center forward. And all I could think is Goodbjornsson with Bjornsson late in the season, two giants from across the pond playing together. I was excited about that.
Well, no, he's done a great job filling in, especially when Wolfie, the other Bjornsson, was hurt earlier in the season. But yeah, he's scored some goals. He's been an imposing presence, and he brings a lot of pride and just athleticism.
Now he's out.
Yeah, and unfortunate he's had some injuries throughout his career. It was fun to see him finally healthy. You know, a young man who's worked so hard to get back in his rehab and has been such a good team player and leader for this team.
Headed away back there for NC State by Markovic.
Dean, to the point you just made, I mean, NC State is doing such a good job pivoting and switching the point of attack. They have not allowed Duke to get established in rest defense at all this evening.
How about that pass right there?
Division.
Just a lovely texture on it too, Santa Maria.
Well, the vision, the pace, the chemistry, these guys move very well. They understand where they should be. They play often to where the ball should go, not where the player is. And guys move into position. A lot of off-the-ball movement.
Look at this lovely ball right here.
Absolutely lovely ball. The look up, look at the pace on that, the backspin. Hot has a beat on it. That's a fantastic ball, Dean. Isaac Heffes, the center back, who Coach Hubbard really focused on the strength of this center back pairing and their ability to get this team into possession.
Third quarter of the game for the Wolfpack, who have a 1-0 lead over the Duke Blue Devils. Senior night for Duke. Crowd continuing to make noise. Great crowd too, headed out of there by Duke. Good hustle by Healy, who's got one speed. It's fast.
Dean, he's got another fast and faster.
Right. That's better said. Well done, Cedric. That's why you're my man.
He's got a nice change of pace to his game.
Settled by Santa Maria. Santa Maria from Dallas, Texas, spent some time at Mercer. Now Acito. I don't know about you, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to Duke getting in the locker room and letting the professors, John Kerr and Michael Brady, and the rest of the coaching staff try to figure a few things out, because despite it being 1-0, I mean, it could easily be worse. Now Duke actually may not need to wait for the halftime talk, as Drew Kerr pops it with his left foot, but it's handled there by Irv, and that's better from Duke.
That's better, Dean, and Irv made that save look easy. That was actually an incredible shot from Drew Kerr. We see the defensive awareness from NC State. They do such a good job remaining connected. We see the back of their midfield consistently dropping. They always have numbers around the ball. That connectivity has really been the cornerstone of their defensive efforts this season, why they've only given up 3 goals, Dean.
Well, speaking of good defense, Kabusu, also a good two-way player, stepped in to win it back for Duke defensively, and then it was on for Kerr. Simpson back to Kerr, 50-50 ball, somehow stays with Kerr, and he'll earn the corner kick. Drew Kerr
We see Drew Kerr heating up. He's got 5 assists for the co-team lead. Well, actually second, tied with Kenny Hott on the season. He led the team last year with 10 assists.
So here is Kenan Hott going to take the corner kick for Duke. Goes far stick, goes through the hands of Herb. And Duke will have another chance, just purely out of effort. Finally cleared there by NC State. And Demora, the goalkeeper for the Duke Blue Devils, will come all the way out to find Kerr. Kerr having a big-time game, lofts another really good ball. Part of the reason why the Columbus Crew drafted him a year ago in the Super Draft. And if you're a college player, knowing that you wanted to come back and play one more year, let alone play one more year for your dad, particularly a great guy like John Kerr Jr., that's a pretty good team to pick you, because they will let you grow in the college game and bring you in. They'll give you the time, whether it's with the second team at first, and they'll work with him. So I hope he gives it a go with the Columbus Crew.
Absolutely, Dean. Fantastic organization for him to be drafted into, especially with his plans. They long pedigree, as you say, of developing guys and giving them opportunity at different levels while keeping them in the system. But Drew Kerr had a mission. 16 upperclassmen on this team came back with a point to go further in the NCAA tournament this season. And Dean, it's a little late in the first half, but this is what Duke has been missing. It's been mostly one and done. The first half in terms of opportunities, finally some consistent possession in their offensive half where they're winning second balls, getting multiple chances.
Drew Kerr is going to run over to take the throw in. So they're going to treat this like an extra corner here with 65 seconds remaining in the first half. 1-0 for the number 3 team, NC State, on top of the number 19 team, Duke. Good throw from Kerr. Long in the air, falls at the top of the 18, needs a blue jersey there. Instead, there's a couple for NC State, so they're quickly on the counter. Now they've got a chance to play it into space. And a clean tackle right there coming from Duke to win it back. It was Thomas Lamai who had broken out to make a run, and before Lamai could get it, Duke tracked back to win it back. And now with 14 seconds left, Vukovic just going to try to bomb it long in there. Just picked out of there by Herb. And that should be the last play. This game started physical and might as well end physical here as the first half comes to an end. Your thoughts on an NC State 1-0 lead after 45?
Well, Dina, a well-deserved 1-0 lead based on how this half played out. There's a lot of offensive firepower left in this game. The comfortness, the preparedness, again, same back line has started every match for this NC State team this season, so a lot of chemistry and confidence back there.
Second half underway alongside former Duke star Cedric Burke. I'm Dean Linke, delighted to be with you for this Saturday Night Tilt on ACC Network Extra. One that, frankly, probably slipped through the cracks from the bigwigs at ACC Network and ESPN, and we get to benefit from it because this is a big-time soccer game.
This is a big-time soccer game, Dean. Especially a couple of weeks ago when these teams were both top 10. This looked like one of the, it still is one of the best matchups in the country this evening, but this could be a special one. A lot of postseason and ACC ramifications based on the scoreline.
So NC State starts out on the attack again. I mean, before we even took a breath, there was pressure on the back line, forcing Demora to make a couple saves before they finally put one in. Duke kind of trying to send it long. When Duke can, they will look to try to get it to Bjornsson. Olfer Bjornsson, number 9. We've talked about injuries. He's also been up and down with injuries during his career, which has been fairly prolific, but would be even more prolific if he could stay healthy.
Dean has got 27 goals in his career, and you're right, 2 double ankle injuries at parts of this season, missed several games. came in as the #1 ranked player in the preseason, has been a bit underwhelming based on the standard he's set, but still a lot of soccer to play.
Here's Duke with a good chance, and there's the man, Bjornsson, off his head. A little bit unlucky.
Well, and just that quickly, we saw only one legitimate chance early in the first half for Bjornsson, but he can score in a lot of different ways, and that is one of them. The quick headers, and he constantly gets himself in good position. Will not take much for him to get on the scoreboard.
So here's what I saw in that replay, Cedric, was, first of all, it was driven in perfectly, but there were a couple players behind Bjornsson. So he's got to remember, look, he's a natural goal scorer. You talked about this 27 goals, but he's got to remember the power of a flick near post on a driven corner kick, because there were some blue jerseys waiting on the far stick.
Absolutely, Dean. You know, one concept this team is really focused on is that third man running principle, constant off the ball movement, and there were multiple guys moving to that far post because he can do such a good job flicking that ball on.
Blue Devils, that 3-back system, also missing Burns tonight, out with an injury. But the bigger story, of course, is Donovan Phillip. We now have a little better understanding on what his situation is. We'll get that to you in a moment, but we'll do it during a dead ball, as NC State can strike so quickly, as we saw in the first half.
And Dean, this possession for NC State coming off of, really, Duke has to be better with the weight and positioning of entry passes in this half. We saw a long entry pass from the back line that, again, was intersected in the midfield, and NC State is already in prominent attacking position.
So there's Donovan Phillip having a little snack. So the word is from the sports information department out of NC State is he took a knock to the head. And you always got to be careful. They talk about that all the time with head injuries. Probably could play, but precautionary, they'll try to keep him out. Duke with a chance to equalize here. A good run by Duke. Decent squared ball, but runs into NC State, as looks like Jose Ortega is going to stay out there wearing number 13.
And Dean, you called it in the first half. Ortega's such a utility guy with a ton of experience that is vital in these heated ACC games, and he can do a job on that wing. Very good first touch.
So just to wrap up, Donovan Phillip, who we spent the first 30 minutes of the game talking about before we came on the air. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but he did take a little knock to the head. He didn't come out of the game. It was one of those things they discovered after the last game. And so for precautionary reasons, I don't think we're going to see him.
I don't either. He's got the sweats on. As you mentioned, he's enjoying a nice snack on the bench. He looked ready to come into that first half, but he looks very comfortable. And with a 1-0 lead, and if you're protecting your star player, it may not be a reason to risk him.
NC State will finish with Syracuse on Halloween night. And what a job the Wolfpack fans have done, as they have been packing Dale Soccer Stadium routinely. They kind of took the lead. If you remember, their former AD came over from Maryland. Of course, the sister to K-Yao, one of the legends, Debbie, came over. And in Maryland, what they did is created that environment with the bleachers behind the goals where the crew sit. And that's kind of what NC State's done. And it's a good atmosphere. It's NC State looking to score their second long-distance shot from the top of the half moon there, but not on target.
DeFrancesco getting involved with the shot from distance. We see good build-up. Actually, good win back again from a repress opportunity. Quick shot off target. Yeah, Dean, a fantastic atmosphere over in Raleigh, one of the best venues for college soccer in the ACC for sure right now.
Wow, what a great play by Herb, as the header back to Herb kind of surprised him, and he had to quickly hit it. That shot a moment ago from Frankie DeFrancesco, who won the Big South Freshman of the Year last year at High Point with 4 goals and 3 assists, has 1 goal on the season. Here comes Healy as he'll drop it off. Be surprised if they get it back to Healy one more time, and now a foul called against Duke. It'll be a dangerous free kick here. As coming in just a little bit too hot is Bull Jurgensen.
Mclean again. Jurgensen just reaches for that. Easy foul to call. That's a very dangerous position, being right on top of the box. We've also seen State be very clinical in set pieces already.
So 3 players over the ball. Healy is over there, and then Riley Maloney, who, if Maloney hits it, it's probably going to be a pass, as he's got 6 assists. There's one other player. Justin Mclean, who has the only goal in the game. So NC State kind of trying to set their own wall. Now Healy's going to leave it. Interesting, isn't it? It's a double wall. I'm finding trouble giving NC State credit for 10 yards. All of the Duke players are at least 10 yards off. The referee, though, going to let it go. 3 NC State players stand in front of the Duke wall. Here's the shot, goes into that Duke wall. Shot coming from Maloney.
And Dean throwing those 3 players in front of the wall is a distraction. We saw all 3 of them spin off and get themselves in the position. We see a bit of a divide open up. Just asks questions of the defense and makes them think about things.
Ended up going off the back of an attacking player for Duke, Rakaj, who was in the wall. Throw in now from NC State, a long one, turning. And they'll finally call the whistle against NC State as Acito is down.
I believe we're at 21 fouls and counting, Dean. We see a lot of scuttlebutt in the box. That was Lamel turning with he went for it. Went for the full volley, just couldn't quite connect. And then we see the foul from Markovic coming through.
And Thomas Lamai, the 5th-year player out of France, the transfer from Dr. Dave Mazur's St. John's team. As you see Justin Mclean. I always call it a full day when you get a goal and a yellow card in the same game.
Full day's work.
Yeah.
It was Markovic with a great defensive play.
Oh, look at this ball. NC State, Duke doing a good job getting players back. That's Kerr. Kerr's just had a really nice game, particularly defensively, dealing with a lot coming at him from the Wolfpack. The Duke women's soccer team in the house. They're the real deal.
Well, they are absolutely the real deal, and they understand the importance of this match.
Oh, big time shot from distance. Saved away by Demora to keep this one at 1-0. Racked that save. What a release from NC State from long distance. That one had some heat on it. And Demora keeps it at 1-0. Wow.
That was a missile, Dan. I want to get another look at that. I believe that was Healy.
Love this kid.
Oh, that was the faster button. Separation, puts himself into space. Left-footed shot to the corner. Demora with a great save. That was a missile.
He's got 8 assists on the season. Came into the game with 18 shots on goal. Still looking for his first goal of the season, which I find hard to believe when you see somebody take shots like that. But I think in general, you know that he's a pass-first kind of player because usually he has Donovan Phillip in front of him.
Definitely a pass-first, assist-oriented guy, but we see what he can do. He can break down a player 1v1. He broke down 2 there. He can put himself in goal-scoring positions and finish as well. Just haven't seen it translated on the score sheet yet.
What a save from Demora. Eric Demora coming over from Monmouth, the redshirt senior, giving up just 9 goals, .72 goals against average. And Demora now in this game with, well, they got to update that because he had 2 saves within like the first 3 minutes, and that save right there was incredible. Here's Demora. He'll come out of the 18, hit it with his right foot. One back by Haig. Good tackle by Kenny Hott. Now Vukovic. Vukovic just looks really lively and moving well. And they have needed him to be. Otherwise, this one could be 3-4-0 NC State.
Very good job by Vukovic winning his 1v1 battles and getting involved here. Again, State has done such a good job of winning those distributions coming out of the back and immediately putting this Duke defense back on pressure. As a defender, that is the absolute worst thing for you. You do your work, you win it, you clear it up, and then the team's coming right back at you. That's Kenny Hott with a clinical tackle, getting down, all ball. Vukovic comes to clean it up.
Tyler Caton, the junior out of England, spent time at Missouri State, which has established themselves as another one of those powers like Marshall, Vermont, that have gone the international route, some older players, and it's working for them as they continue to make pretty deep runs, and they're always a tough out, Missouri State. The Demora save, look, we talk about the speed of Haig, but watch the save.
Oh, Healy blasted this one. Demora read it well, got both hands on it. Very good save.
CAA Goalkeeper of the Year for Monmouth. Good work in the middle by Markovic. Over the top. So Demora from Clifton, New Jersey, part of the reason why he stayed at Monmouth before coming over to Duke. Looking for a whistle there is Thomas Lemay.
I think we'll see a little discussion for Lemay. This is the second or third time in this half that NC State has kicked the ball away after the whistle. We've seen it a couple times in the midfield.
Push from behind, that'll create a good opportunity here for Duke. So that back line getting a little bit too physical, as going down on that push is Ari Rakaj.
Want a chance for this Duke defense to catch their breath. Get up in offensive position. Most of this game for the last 10 minutes has been played in their defensive half with several second chance opportunities for NC State.
This feels like Drew Kerr territory with that left foot.
Absolutely. Look on this far post, few runs over there, Vukovic.
Hott is also over there, not afraid to whip it in with his right, so that's what they'll do. Hott with the right foot, too far away from Vukovic. Set right back in by Ortega. Now NC State. Healy dribbles into trouble, taken away by Duke. Arlotti, the Italian, one of 2. D'Ambrosio don't believe we've seen him just yet. Ortega sends it long again. Goes through Bjornsson. Bjornsson dealing with those ankle injuries. I think it's just made it harder for him. One of his strengths before was posting up, right? Like a traditional 9 and holding the ball. But to do that, you got to have a strong core, and that includes your feet and your ankles.
Absolutely strong core and that sense of gravity, which makes it very difficult to establish if you're worried about the integrity of your ankles holding up. So a player that plays as dynamically and powerfully as he does definitely has an impact on his game.
So the Duke women are here, but tomorrow they'll be in Raleigh as they'll be on the ACC network, I believe 6 p.m., 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock start. If you turn it an hour early, enjoy some ACC network. You see the Duke women there. Kieran Hall in his first year replacing the legendary Robbie Church, doing a great job. Associate head coach Carla Overbeck, one of the true legends of the game.
Team has really not skipped a beat in the transition, as you said, from the legendary Robbie Church.
You know, and one of the things I really enjoy about Kieran Hall, it's interesting, and it took just kind of like the second call. But, you know, Robbie Church was plug and play, right? When you're getting ready, it's just like hit record, and 30 minutes later, you're done, right? Kieran Hall, by the second game, we were allowed to kind of ask questions on players and kind of what we're seeing, the good, the bad, the ugly, and he was open to all of it. And I have mad respect for that.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, we've talked about this. It makes for a more authentic broadcast, and it really highlights these young men and young women and what they're doing and how hard they're working every day.
Hot, and that'll be a card. So a card given to Justin Mclean.
Yellow card has been assessed to NC State, number 8, Justin Mclean.
Okay, so I thought Mclean had already got a yellow, but it was issued to the team earlier on. So Markovich, Lamai, and Tommy. So there's 4 yellow cards, all belonging to NC State.
And I think, Dean, to your point, there was some confusion. A couple of the Duke players reacted as if that may have been his second yellow as well. Duke really seeking in these last 30 minutes to reestablish their identity and find some rhythm. We're now, what, 345 minutes and counting without a goal?
Yeah, I can't believe that, right? Because Duke has just been so dangerous offensively. Arlotti, one of the danger men with 7 goals and 5 assists, has had limited touches, as I feel like he has been heavily focused on defending this NC State attack in their transition, which is so good.
Well, you can even see it. Jorgensen, a few other guys in the middle, just the borderline exhaustion of tracking these NC State middies all game. They've done such a great job of moving the ball quickly and creating space. It's much easier, much harder to defend than to have possession of the ball.
We didn't really talk keys in the first half, but for John Kerr, it was change the point of the attack, stay under control, and manage the NC State front 3. And that's a front 3 that he thought was going to include Phillip. It hasn't mattered that Phillip has not been in there. That front 3 for NC State has been really good.
They've been fantastic, Dean, and they really, there's no doubt, those guys knew they needed to step up, and you can see them embracing that challenge. But same style of play, next man up mentality for sure. We see again the physicality in the box. We've got 3 players down. Duke is not relenting on this 1v1 defense after giving up a fairly soft first goal.
Vukovic and Markovich. They've kind of got a little mini sort of UFC battle going on in between this soccer game. Those two both wearing number 6.
Bash Brothers, man. There's He's a throwback, man, an old school center back.
So he's from Serbia, and as I mentioned, Markovic on the other side, while growing up in Canada, both of his parents from Serbia as well. And I'm guessing they're talking a little bit of Serbian, and there might be a few impolite words in there.
Never, Dean.
Markovic plays it forward. And they're going to call it foul against Acito.
Buckle up. This is going to be an exciting last 25 minutes in this match.
It's a great way to put it. It's Aiden Payne, who was the player that got the start with the late scratch from Donovan Phillip.
And Payne's been fairly effective this season as well. 3 goals and 3 assists for 9 points.
Riley Maloney over the ball with Tyler Caton. Caton acting like he's going to take it. Maloney is going to take it. Maloney, good ball, far stick, high in the air, but a foul called against NC State as, guess who it is? Once again, Markovic.
Markovic, not a surprise. He comes over the back of Vukovic.
Oh, there was a couple kicks right there. And it's hard to blame either one of these players for kicking back a little bit here. Taken away again by Acito, who's always so calm, cool, and collected no matter what the situation.
Well, we foul on the play, but I'd be remiss if we didn't again focus on that ball from Riley Maloney. And the lefty on the wing, reminiscent of Drew Kerr out on the Duke wing. Great job playing balls in. There's a reason he's got a goal and 6 assists on the season.
Big time service for the freshman from England. One of the things you got to remember is a lot of these freshmen that do come over from England that have spent times with premier programs over there in their academy system is they're not usually an 18-year-old freshman. It's a little different. They're 19, 20-year-old freshmen, so they got a few more years of just worldly living under their belt, let alone at Darby County.
Very good point. They come in with an extra layer of maturity and honestly an appreciation for the moment and the magnitude of these games. But yeah, he's played in some big-time games, big-time crowds. You can tell he's ready for it.
Here's Kerr, who's played great. Bjornsson. NC State won't mind Bjornsson being that far out. So he drops it back. And NC State is fouled. So with a player down, reminding you again that Donovan Phillip, who is tied with Indiana's Palmer Alt with 15 goals on the season, took a little knock to the head. We did not know that in the last game. And there he is. He is not looking like somebody that's going to get back into this game. 15 goals. And the true unfortunate part is our producer, Will Black, the Emmy was already on the way. I mean, it was in the box, right? They had the fluffy stuff around it to just protect it. And
the engraving was already done and everything.
I think they got to pull it back now. Trying to challenge that back line is Duke and Markovic. Putting on quite the display. Here's Ortega in the middle of the park.
Really, Markovic is putting on a defensive clinic.
Hot. That went off of Jurgensen. Quickly the other way is Healy. Healy with another shot! Wow! Healy with a goal, and it's 2-0. Wow. He has been great the entire game, and now gets a goal.
Wow is right, Dean. Talk about seizing the moment and opportunity. I was just going to say that Duke has had such a trouble creating rhythm and consistency and give the ball up once again, and Healy absolutely punishes him. Puts himself in good position by his off-the-ball run, looks up, finds himself in space. Again, wins his 1v1 battle, That left foot, he goes to the other corner this time. Great goal.
First goal of the season for a man who looks like he can score him in his sleep right there. And check this shot out with the left foot. With a ton of fans here, absolutely loving their number 10.
And Dean, just a lack of connectivity and transition defense from this Duke team in that situation. He simply got in behind the midfield, and he found the space between the midfield and the center backs, and dangerous things happen when that goes unmarked. He did the hard work, though. Clinical finish.
Well, he already had a shot from a similar distance that Demora made a world-class save on. This one, perhaps Demora maybe leaning a little bit to the right, and it ostensibly, although Demora was kind of central, it was a near-post goal.
Well, it's a very astute point you make, Dean. Keeper tendency, you know where a player went last time. The last time he went to the opposite side and Demora saved it to his right. Probably leaned a little bit in that direction. He got caught off guard, but it was a fantastic shot to the left.
Foul there on Duke with some frustration starting to settle in, as you don't often see fouls like that inside the 18. The offensive team, but this is a clear foul. Ortega. I don't think the ball is too close to the NC State player that time. What do you think, Cedric?
I think Ortega missed the ball on that one just by a few inches.
2-0 as we're more than halfway through the second half, and NC State, which has been not just the talk of the ACC, but the talk of the country as it relates to the quick turnaround here. Some credit initially. I mean, George Kiefer came from USF, really kind of got involved with the student fan base, put together some winning teams, put together routine runs to the NCAA tournament, but then NIL and the transfer portal went into overdrive, and sometimes it's hard to keep up. So sometimes you need a coach that understands that as well, and Hubbard has done that. To George Kiefer's credit, he has moved on. I believe he's at Grand Valley State, right?
Correct.
Or no?
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon,
yep.
Yeah, Grand Canyon. Where I think Shellis Heineman also spent a little bit of time. Uh-oh. More contact. It's just Mclean. Man, I don't know.
I'd like to see this one back in slow motion.
He's not going to do it, is he?
No, McLean's been involved in a lot. I don't.
That's going to be a red then.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, I like that because he didn't need to look at it. So that's what was kind of puzzling me at first. He did not need to look at it. That is a second yellow for sure. Yeah, there's no ball around there. He already has a yellow. That is reckless.
Absolutely reckless and definitive. It's a late slide. Zero ball awareness. Went through his leg. Easiest call of the night.
So a red card on Justin Mclean. He got a yellow in the 62nd, which was probably about 40 minutes past when he should have gotten his first yellow. However, to his credit, he did get a goal 5 minutes and 4 seconds into the game to make it 1-0. Now we'll see how Mark Hubbard adjusts, and we'll also see how Duke adjusts. They have the player advantage. They need to figure out some sort of overload on the attack, as they now have a goalless streak that is running too long. Now's the chance to end that with a player advantage.
Dean, you said it, overload to isolation. With a man up, you should be able to overload one side, which should create an isolation on the other, and you should be able to capitalize. Now, interestingly enough, their only loss of the season against UVA, the state team played a man down for part of that match.
Ortega plays it back to the feet of Zabinko. Now Acito. Kerr. Boy, Kerr you know, on his senior night, representing his family name, has just been really good. I mean, even that pass I don't hate, as he was trying to make something happen, but NC State going the other way.
Drew Kerr's been incredible, especially defensively. You've mentioned he's played box to box. He's been creative. He's been fearless. And there's a lot of time left in this match. So State intrinsically will now have to sit back and condense somewhat with Duke having a man advantage. This is where Duke needs to stick to their keys, find quick pivots, move the ball quickly. Again, find those overloads and isolations.
Duke's going to bring in some firepower here as Jamie Kabusu, the sophomore from Chestnut Hill, Mass. And with a player advantage, I gotta believe John Kerr's gonna bring all attacking players in here, as they've got nothing to lose here now. Under 20 minutes, they've got a man advantage, and the last thing they want to do is see NC State work the clock by keeping possession.
Nothing to lose whatsoever. This is where you throw the kitchen sink at the opponent. Kabusu, probably the most dynamic, athletically gifted player on the team. Expect him to come in on the wing. He will try to get deep into their offensive third and create chances. Plays a great through ball across the box at times when he wins his matchups. Can create instant opportunities for the Blue Devils.
But as it is, played forward for NC State. Combination play, so much speed, different level. And it hits the side netting, but the wrong side netting. Duke needs some offense, as they are looking at something that is unheard of. They have not been shut out in 4 straight matches since 1940. Their last goal was October 7th. 3 matches and counting for the Duke Blue Devils. It has been since 1940 that Duke has gone 4 games without a goal. They still got time here. They need to erase that graphic and put it away forever.
Oh, absolutely, Dean. I mean, and again, this team has been defined by their offensive prowess for several seasons now, so this is just completely unexpected.
So Kabusu into the game. Right now he's playing deeper as a right back.
Well, they went smaller. They pulled out Zabinko, brought in Kabusu as one of the 3 center backs. Now, all 3 center backs, we see it with Zabinko too, they have the ability and green light to get up, but we'll see even more so with Kabusu, especially if they can create an overload on the opposite side to free him up.
Cito will play it to the feet of Demora. Good opportunity here. Rakaj has got to remember the ball, though.
And this is where Duke doesn't need to press. They need to play quickly but not be rushed. Maintain the composure. Still a lot of time left in this match. They have the ability to get these goals, but they're going to have to keep possession, develop a rhythm.
You know, it's interesting. We came on highlighting Phillip and Hott. Phillip hasn't played, and Hott's been cold so far.
He has. I like what you did there, Dean. He has not been the dominant Kenan Hott we've seen all season.
Over to Ortega. Back to Hott. Ortega. Rakaj. Rakaj has had a really good game defensively. I just feel like he's been a little bit off as far as his touches on the attack. Is that fair?
Yeah, he hasn't had much possession. Everything's been one and done. A flick here, gets himself in good position, but in terms of actually having the ball at his feet and developing a rhythm, it has not been there. But Rakaj has had some big moments. We saw the beautiful header he scored a few weeks ago.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, he's a big-time player. That's why I'm saying here's what I'm saying, Cedric. They need it, right? I mean, You just saw that graphic. They haven't gone 4 games without scoring since 1940, so they need everybody. In fact, right now, if I'm John Kerr, I'm probably walking down the bench and looking at everybody and probably even saying to Axel, take that boot off. I mean, they got to find somebody that they can find to find the back of the net to pull one back here.
You need a spark. Everything in this game is contagious. All it takes is, the ball always finds energy. You need a spark. You need a player to make a difference to really get this team going. And all it takes is one moment of brilliance. We know the fine margins in this game. They get one, it puts State under a lot of pressure. And we could see a very intense ending to this game.
Duke will, on Halloween night, be in Chapel Hill on the ACC network for an 8 o'clock tilt against Carlos Salwano's Tar Heels. Of course, North Carolina with kind of a, I mean, there's no shocking losses in the ACC. The teams are just too good, but they did lose to Syracuse.
Another giveaway. Duke cannot continue to give away these balls in the midfield. Had a wide open Drew Kerr, I believe, or Max Simpson on the far left.
NC State doing all. Ooh, that's a jersey pull right outside the 18. They may bring it. No, they're going to let him play on. Interesting. As NC State keeps the ball.
That's the freshman Simpson. That's not the place on the field to pull the jersey, especially at this moment in the game.
I feel like, Cedric, it was a jersey and the shorts right around the 18, as that one will go out of bounds.
I think he may have lost awareness of where he was on the pitch. He's trying to get to him before he gets in the box, but gets into the box and he has a handful of shorts right there. He's fortunate.
Great shot by our crew. Under 15 minutes remaining. There's Rakaj, whistle for the foul.
And same thing, Dean. We can see the frustration. Rakaj has not been able to get cleanly at his feet all night. Just a frustration foul. But if you're Duke, you have to limit those fouls the rest of this match. The last thing you want to do is give State time to essentially work 30 seconds off the clock with a restart.
It's one thing to be down 2-0. The part that I'm struggling with, and I'm sure John Kerr and Michael Brady, the Silver Foxes, are as well, is I can't tell which team has the player advantage. And obviously, I know that Duke has the player advantage, but NC State has still had a ton of the ball, Cedric Burke.
There hasn't been a clear advantage, and there should be with one man up. Again, a testament to the defensive connectivity of the State team to be able to maintain that organization. But no, there has not been a tangible difference in the run of play since they went down a man. And we've played almost 10 minutes now. And with each minute and play that passes, we see the frustration mount for these Blue Devils. They've had several big comebacks this season, but again, going 3 matches without a goal, the pressure builds.
.21 remaining. You see Mclean, who scored goal number 1, which would serve as the game-winning goal if the scoreline stays the same way. Leonardo D'Ambrosio into the game, number 11. Can he bring a spark? Simpson keeps it down, finds D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio now. The mark is on by Drew Lovelace. Kerr. It popped up on him, or perhaps he was going to turn with the shot. Drops it back in. It's D'Ambrosio trying to make an immediate impact. Kept alive. Ortega. Good weight on it. Kerr cranks it. Duke sending everything, and it'll come back to NC State.
Dean, unsuccessful, but you can feel it coming. Just that play, we had a lot of connectivity between D'Ambrosio, you mentioned, getting involved. Drew Kerr with the quick shot. They're just missing by very fine lines. One change we have seen, Dean, with NC State rather playing down a man. They're not building out of the back anymore. We see taking more time on the set pieces from Erb in the back, getting numbers up again, taking time off the clock, playing long balls.
Running down here is Duke. Duke takes a shot and handled there by Erb. What a save. I mean, to be able to use a big, powerful hand to not only stop it, but just keep it within inches of his glove.
Fantastic save from Erb, not giving up a second chance opportunity. But Dean, you can feel the momentum shifting. We see Max Simpson finding hot, streaking. Great one-touch shot to the corner. It feels like a Duke goal is coming. Which if they score, Dean, this crowd's really going to get into this match. It's going to be an exciting final 10 minutes or so.
Duke trying to make that penetrating, probing pass into the 18, denied there by NC State as they've got 5 across that back line. Ortega heads it back post, and there's Erb. Erb treats that ball like a marble.
like his favorite marble in the collection, Dean. He does not let it get far.
Ortega. There are 9 minutes remaining. And with that 9 minutes, the kind of history that you do not want to make, especially when you're as good as Duke, and that is going 4 games in a row without a goal. This after scoring 25 in 5 games at home. So you know what they can do. Now, granted, there have been some injuries. Losing Axel, losing Burns, a couple players that are banged up kind of has changed the dynamic. B, let's just call it as it is. NC State, they are without a player that will be probably in St. Louis for the Mac Hermann Trophy celebration, and they haven't needed Donovan Phillip.
They haven't, and that says a lot about this NC State team in general. Also says a lot about where these Blue Devils are at the moment. Now, they haven't scored goals, but only 1 loss on the season, Dean. So have found a way to get points.
That's a great point.
So really only 2 matches thus far. This one and the Clemson match where they've been at this kind of disadvantage.
Yeah, that's a great point. That says a lot about, while they're not scoring, normally their defense has been locked down, but NC State, they were so driven and determined to get off to a good start. Clearly, Coach Hubbard with a good game plan to get all over Duke early on, and that's exactly what they did, as they forced a couple really good saves by Eric Demora within the first 5 minutes, and then in the 6th minute made it 1-0. And now Demora, who made another big save on a shot from Healy, but Healy made an adjustment with a similar shot moments later and a laser to make it 2-0 NC State.
Absolute heat-seeking missile. This NC State team is the real deal, Dean.
Trying to get through, a little push from behind. Duke would take a little gift like a penalty right now.
Well, it was a great entry ball from Drew Kerr, read it perfectly. Rakaj was moving in that direction. Just well played and defended by NC State.
As it goes out of bounds, I want to thank our amazing crew led by Will Black, Tyler Nelson, Blake Woodard, Jamie Carr, Ivan Pacheco, Caleb Waters in the house, Dan Druff, Rob Gray, Matt McCula, Chris DeBoe, Chris Metzloff, Philip Robinson, and Ryan Givens. Alongside Cedric Burke, I'm Dean Linke. Delighted to be with you for this special Saturday night top 20 tilt between number 3 NC State and number 19 Duke. And NC State now Just over 6 minutes remaining from another victory. Kept alive by Duke. Kerr is waiting at the top of the 18. Can they get it to him? Kept alive again, sent back in, little flick. Herb kind of disjointed that time. It'll be a corner kick Duke.
That's a corner for Duke.
This is an area where Duke has to capitalize, Dan. Don't know how many more chances are left.
Bent in, right at Herb, unlucky. Anywhere but right there, and perhaps it's 2-1.
Yeah, this gets, it's just Aceto that deflects this. That is Arlotti. Right at Herb, to your point, just placed in the corner, probably a better chance. Arlotti, a guy, scored a lot of goals. He's got 27 in his career as well.
Foul is the tuck-in coming from Leonardo D'Ambrosio. Like Arlotti from Italy. Let's recap how we got here. Let's take a look here. Cedric Burke, bring it down, my man.
Well, we see the early corner. We see Mclean coming over the back of Jamie Kabusu with the well-placed header for the goal. Taig Healy, he's been a magician tonight in the midfield. We see the red card close to 20 minutes ago. Haven't seen a tangible impact. Mclean, as you said, Dean, played a complete game. He's got the red card in, he's got the goal. Dean, look at these NC State fans. It's been a couple of decades since we've seen this type of involvement and atmosphere.
Oh, that is great for their student base there, right? To have a team like NC State, 3 in the country, showing that they might have what it takes to make a deep run, and they're doing it without one of the best players in the country in this game, Donovan Phillip, who has 15 goals on the season. Precautionary sitting out this game. We didn't know it. And if you were just tuning in, you probably are thinking, oh, Phillip probably went off again. No, he didn't even play, and it didn't matter. NC State is that good. And the Wolfpack now taking over Koskinen. That is crazy.
Dean, this is, I can't say I've ever witnessed this in Koskinen Stadium, to be honest with you. But ultimately, it's good for local soccer. I mean, to see this level of involvement, to see this level of passion, several players in the stands who hope to be on this field at some point. Coach Kerr most certainly spoke about the awareness of these rivalry games, not looking past this one, but next one up, the Tar Heels and Chapel Hill. These are 2 big games.
Just a little over 4 minutes remaining. Duke with a player advantage, but down 2 goals. Good combination here. Kerr taking that pass from Arlotti. Kerr cuts back in. Kerr with his left. That had eyes. Headed away, though.
Dean, that had more than eyes. It had eyes on that far corner. Beautiful piece of individual play by Drew Kerr to put himself in position and get it to his left foot. But also had 2 runners. I believe Rakaj and might have been actually Max Simpson and Arlotti going to that far post.
It was Isaac Heffis, number 18, with the clearance for NC State on the shot from Kerr.
You see Kerr again, inverted, cuts over to his left. Great shot, and it hit. Rakaj and Max Simpson were there for the follow-through had it made it through.
That is going to take a little more air out of this Duke team, and now the Duke fans starting to exit stage right. And the NC State fans feels like they're multiplying. Another ball handled there by Markovic. Markovic, a strong performance in the Cirques jersey. Ooh, that's a card. Wait. That's got to be a red for him too.
It absolutely should be a second yellow.
So, wait. Yeah, so he's done. So Markovic is done. So NC State will play that last game against a team that just beat North Carolina without 2 key players. As heading to the showers is Markovic.
3 minutes left, but Dean, if you're Duke, you're just kicking yourself in the foot for not being able to take advantage of. Now you have a 2-man advantage. 3 minutes, still a lot of time to play.
A yellow card also given to the NC State bench as Coach Mark Hubbard trying to work on another player here, as Nakai Antoine will be the player. So now it's 11 versus 9.
Now, Dean, they only have to withstand for 3 minutes to hold out, but playing down 1, you can manage. Playing down 2 is a completely different game. There should be significant advantages for the Blue Devils these final 3 minutes. And what a turn by Drew Kerr, by the way, to put himself in position to draw that foul.
Hot. Headed away. Kept alive by Simpson. Simpson, nobody home, and the clock will tick against Duke, even up 2 players here.
Now, up 2 players, you simply cannot waste opportunities. Duke needs to maintain possession for the next 2 minutes and really try to exploit this advantage.
Macedo now getting the yellow card.
And again, we're watching precious seconds count off the clock for these Blue Devils, Dean.
You saw a little frustration there from Stephen Foster, the referee. So no Mclean, no Markovic for NC State's final game of the season, as they'll have to sit it out. They'll have Syracuse at home. 2:22 remaining, so 2-player advantage for Duke. Every second ball needs to be won by the team in blue, and instead a foul is called against Duke. That's unfortunate. Arlotti got a little too physical there.
A little too physical and just not the right point in the game in terms of game management. We've seen a minute now of wasted time between the yellow card and that foul.
Wow, down 2 players. NC State still keeps the ball down in the corner and has worked the clock under 90 seconds.
Well, Dean, well-coached team with phenomenal situational awareness in terms of killing this game.
This one is over, as we're at 60 seconds here. Foul called against NC State.
Duke's got to throw everybody up. DeMore should be the only one back right now.
He might as well come forward here.
Nothing to lose at this point.
40 seconds left. Another takeaway here from NC State. NC State, really classy performance from the Wolfpack. At one point, #1 in the country, now still right up there at #3, taken away by Duke, but more time. Another foul there against NC State. That might be another yellow card. And it will be, as just about everybody getting a yellow for NC State. That's Caden Tolentino.
Tolentino throws a kiss to the Blue Devil women's team on the way back. It's been that type of night.
So 15 seconds remaining. Kerr
10,
with the final
9,
salvo there.
8, 7,
Shot from Duke, and the story of the game denied by NC State. And NC State has denied Duke again 4 straight games without a goal for the first time since 1940. Meanwhile, NC State at number 3.